Hey, Paul Gilly here, and we are back in the Gilly Custom Workshop. What we've got going on today is a door refinish. So these folks had this beautiful alder door, knotty alder, real wood. They had that thing installed, but their contractor ordered the wrong color. I guess he had sent him a link to the product on the website, and the right color was not selected when he ordered it. So they went ahead and installed the door. It was a new house build. They installed the door, but after a few months, it started fading real bad. It was getting a lot of sun. So you can see the original color and then what it faded to. So apparently the clear coat job was not the greatest. And it's not the color they wanted to begin with. They wanted something darker. They wanted like a walnut color. So that's where we come in. We're going to refinish this door for them. This can involve a lot of sanding. Gotta love sanding, huh? It's okay. That's what we do. All right, so here we go. Do a little door refinish. So the first thing I did was to sand down the flat surfaces with the palm sander. Now technically any palm sander will work, but you'll get much better results with a better palm sander. I've owned several brands. This one here is a Festool, and let me tell you, well worth the money. It does a great job sanding, and the dust collection on it is awesome as well. Though I got to tell you, I did not buy the Festool dust collector adapter for this thing. I 3D printed it. Much cheaper that way. Now, one real important thing when you're sanding is don't skip grits. All right, I started with a 80 grit on this thing to strip the finish and worked my way all the way down to a 220. If I'd gone straight from 80 to 220, I'd have some massive scratches in there. It would have been a pretty awful mess. Swirl marks and all that mess. So I did 80, then 120, then 180, and then 220. And that worked out real nicely. Before working too much around the glass, I went ahead and taped that up to protect it, keep stain off of it, keep from scratching it and all that. Working around the glass is the hardest part, so better to be extra careful. So the flat surfaces we can get with the palm sander, but all this stuff, rather than sitting there with a piece of sandpaper getting all up in there for every bit of the finish removal, we use these card scrapers or cabinet scrapers, and they're great for getting up in here. There's different profiles, different shapes, different profiles for different curves and all that. This one's great for getting up into this curve like that. Works pretty well and gets the finish off a lot faster than sandpaper was. Of course, we still follow it up with sandpaper after going down the grits to get it nice and smooth. It's just bare wood, but this definitely speeds up the process in these little intricate areas. And it's slightly more fun than sanding. But only slightly more fun. Definitely goes faster. It's a little more satisfying to watch, but still a long, tedious process. I think in this whole door, between the sanding and the scraping and getting it ready for the finish, I got a good 12 hours in it. So, yeah, lots of work. After stripping down all the finish, then we just go down the grits with the sandpaper. And of course, the most time-consuming parts are inside all these panels, all the molded bits. But you gotta do it. Can't get around it. So we do it. It's not sanded smoothly and consistently. It's not gonna take the stain consistently. And whatever imperfections are in the wood, we're going to show through that dark stain, so we want to get this nice and smooth. hand sanding those grooves and profiles and all that. That was probably the most tedious part of the whole thing. But, like I said, you gotta do it. And it's gonna come out real nice. After getting the old finish stripped off and sanding down the grits on the whole door, went over one last time with the 220, just hand sanding in the direction of the grain to just, make sure I hadn't missed anything and smooth everything over one last time. Then that was it. It's ready to pick up and get ready for staining. I blew off all the dust and gave it a final wipe down, and we were ready to stain. Alright, well, it's good to finally have that thing sanded down. It's always the most painful part of the process. Takes forever. I know we looked like we just zipped right through it, but that was about 11 man hours of work getting this thing stripped and sanded down, ready for finish. So, yeah, pain in the butt. But now we're going to put some color on it. So we're using this Mini Wax dark walnut stain, oil-based. Don't use water-based stain. It sucks. Waste of time. Don't do it. Always go with oil-based. Totally worth it. I know it may take a little longer to dry, but it's a sacrifice that should be willing to make. Much better results. So, I know they always say test it on an inconspicuous area first. Well, they're right. So, this door is made of alder. I don't have a piece of alder to test it on, but I do have some maple here that looks pretty close. So we're going to test it on the maple. See how this looks. Yeah. There we go. You let it penetrate for a bit and then come back and wipe off the excess. Yeah, I think that'll work. Next place I'm going to test it is on the very top part of this door where you won't see it, just in case. Well, you can't see that, but I can, and it looks good. So, we're going to get to it. I like to use a rag to apply stain. Some people like to use brushes. I like to use a rag. I find I get the best control this way. Now you want to move relatively quick when you're doing this because you want to let the stain penetrate, but only for a certain amount of time. Then you got to wipe down the excess. You don't want it puddling up on the surface. It's kind of hard to do in these grooves. But I'm going to let the stain sit for a couple minutes and then you want to wipe off the excess. And that's kind of how you control the color. The longer you let it penetrate, the darker the color of the stain is going to be. Now we're going for dark, but not too dark. Kind of a medium dark. So, I move fast enough to be able to wipe it down soon enough. And there we go. We have color. It's a nice color. Time to clean up. I know, I probably should have worn gloves. Sometimes I just forget to wear gloves. Sometimes I just don't feel like it. But hey, you know what's really good for taking out oil-based stain off your hands? Dawn dish soap. So, I wash my hands with dish soap. I'm gonna go grab a bite to eat, and then in a few hours when this is dry, we can start with the clear coating process. Alright, we let this coat of stain dry overnight, and overall, I'm very pleased with the color. I think it looks great. However, unfortunately, there are a few spots where when we were scraping and sanding at the original clear coat finish, we didn't quite get all of it off. Seemed like we did, but you can't really tell sometimes until you get the stain on there. So we got some touching up to do. I was hoping that we could now get our first clear coat on. We're going to use spar urethane for the clear coat and do about 3 coats of that. But we can't do that yet. We got to do some touch-ups to the color. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Especially areas like this. You see that? We didn't quite get all of the original clear coat finish off. So didn't show. It looked like it was all gone, but once we got the stain on there, it showed that. There's some more down here. Look at that. That doesn't look very good at all. And I'm not trying to do an okay job. I'm trying to do an excellent job. So we got a little more scraping to do. We're gonna scrape off this we scrape the original finish where I can now see it, and then restain those parts and make it all blend, make it all pretty. Then once that dries, we'll get a clear coat on there. And we're back. Well, doing those extra touch-ups was definitely worth it because it looks a lot better now. So we are ready to put on some clear coat. And we're going to use spar urethane, a lot better than polyurethane for exterior type stuff. Especially a door like this that's going to get a lot of sun exposure. So spar urethane is great against UV rays and all that good stuff. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to put 3 coats on. So I'll do this coat now, then head out to the job site, and then this evening when I get back in, I'll put on a 2nd coat. Tomorrow morning, put on a 3rd coat. That should wrap it up. As you're doing this kind of work, anytime you're putting a clear coat on, you got to be looking at your work in different lights from different angles. You got to look at it straight on, you got to look at it from one side, you got to look at it from the other side. Basically, you want to be able to see it the way light's hitting it in different ways, because some ways it's going to show you the color better. Other ways, it's going to show you the sheen better, and it's going to show you if you missed any spots. You got to always be looking from different angles. Also, get yourself a good, high quality, natural bristle brush for this kind of thing. You don't want to use those economy brushes that you use and just throw away, because I'm telling you, they're not worth it. They might be okay for a cheap quick coat of paint or something, but for something like this, you really need a high quality brush. Not worth skipping. Alright, that's it for the first coat of spar urethane. We're going to let this dry for a bunch of hours, and then we'll hit it again. Alright, well, this first coat is dry. It's been, I don't know, 8 hours. No, it's been longer than that. Shoot, it's been 14 hours. Man, I've had a long day. Whew. Well, anyway, it's been drying for 14 hours, which is plenty. Really only needed 6 to 8 hours between coats. There's always a temptation at this point to say, wow, it looks great, I'm all done, right? No, can't do that. Even if it looks good with one coat of poly, or spar urethane, it's not polyurethane, it's spar urethane. Anyways, even if it looks good with one coat, it's all about the durability, right? I'm putting 3 coats for durability. In between coats, you want to give it a light sanding, which is kind of disheartening. You know, you get this nice pretty finish, and then you scuff sand it, and then it looks all ugly again. But that's okay. Once you get all the dust off, you put another coat on it, it'll look beautiful. So, no worries there. Just lightly sanding with 220 grit, keeping it nice and smooth. What this will do is it'll ensure that the surface is nice and flat and smooth, get rid of any imperfections, and also help the new coat adhere to the old coat. So that's why we do it. And after sanding it down, you want to give it a really good wipe down. Get rid of all the dust before you put the next clear coat on. Alright, that second coat is nice and dry now. Do it all over again. Sand it down and put a third coat on. Alright, there it is. Final coat is on. Now we're going to let this thing dry and then peel the tape and go reinstall. We'll do that. We'll give it a couple days to dry. Alright. Alright, door's finished. We got it loaded up in the truck. Got my helper with me. Say hi, Ezra. Gonna go deliver it and install it. I hope they like it. Yeah. Alright, there it is. I think it looks pretty great. What do you think, Ezra? Does that look good? Mm-hmm. All right, we'll get some more pictures when it gets a little brighter, but yeah, that's a pretty door. I hope they're happy. I hope they'll like it. All right, yeah, it matches the floor in here, matches the beams. It looks pretty good. Good job, Ezra. You did good. Well, I hope you learned a little something from this, and appreciate you watching. Catch you on the next one.